Hey guys, what's going on? This is Aaron Linson with Linson Productions, and we're back with another Walk by Faith video for you guys. And this topic is going to be dealing with difficult times. Every couple deals with difficult times multiple ways and multiple times throughout their life. But unfortunately, a lot of the couples, a lot of the people
walk away
and don't fix what they can. They just are they are tricked into thinking that there's nothing they can do, which is not the case at all.
It's a lie.
Now, not saying that if you're in a situation where you need to get out, that you shouldn't. I'm not saying that at all. What we're saying is the situations that can be saved.
There are steps to fix it.
Yes, there are steps that each person has to take. Now, granted, if the one person is not doing the steps and you are, then that's your all's choice. But through God, through Christ, through prayer and determination, and other people's help as well, this can be accomplished.
I
would like to say is find friends, family, people that you can relate to and talk to. We're always here for you guys to get in contact with us, me or my wife, and we will talk to you, help you,
pray for you
through stuff, pray for you. We will never disclose any information, any personal information on this channel, record anything as far as using the Linson Productions phone line, which is 502-536-9131.
I thought you didn't have that number.
No, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Say the number again.
I downloaded the app.
Okay.
That number is 502-536-9131. Again, I think you can find that in the description below. We have the Facebook page. We have Twitter. We have the email that you all can contact us to, and you can subscribe as well and comment. You can also private message us through YouTube. Let us know what's going on and all that stuff, and we will try to help as best we can. Again, we're wanting this to be a place where you can come, at least this series, where you can come and be transparent with us, because we're being transparent with you.
Well, we don't want you also to feel pressure that you have to disclose certain information. You know, if you just want to say, hey, I'm going through something, I don't want to talk about it right now, but can you pray for me, or what would you do if you were going through this?
Right.
You know, and we're not saying we're not here to help you, because we definitely are. Just because as a young couple, we're going on 4 years, it'll be 4 years in June, but with such little time, you would be surprised of all the things that young married couples can go through, even within a 2-year span. And so we are here for you. If you want to tell us, things, you can. This is not like a, hey, you have to, but we just want you to know that we are here for you. And, so maybe if we can tell our story within a few weeks, because we can't do it all in 1 week, then maybe we can help others tell their stories as well, and they can make something good come out of their story that right now may not seem as shiny. So.
And with that being said, we're going to. It's under a sort of a mini series within working with difficulties. We're going to discuss the topic of working with parents.
This is a fun one.
Whether
Spouses
your
and parents.
spouses and parents, whether you're the son or the in-law of either of two parties.
Right.
This can be
touchy,
very challenging for both individuals.
Well, and your family.
For both families too.
Right.
A lot of stuff can be hidden, and probably, let's be honest, is.
Right.
Whether you're receptive to it or not.
Or it doesn't show up until you get married.
It's right. It doesn't show up until you get married. Are all things that may happen, and hopefully they don't. Hopefully everybody is genuine and all that, but you never know with people.
Some
unfortunately.
Families it does.
Some families it does. Some families it doesn't. You just have to walk through together, because that's what's supposed to happen. Working with parents.
If you are clicking on this, sorry not to interrupt you, but if you haven't seen the last video and you're clicking on this for the first time, go check it out. But just a gentle reminder, we're blind, so as we go through this and we're talking about, this is not just for the blind audience, but I think it's important to bring that up, because as we talk about some of the challenges that we have faced and how we have gotten through them, the blindness aspect in some ways plays a role because of travel issues and stuff that we'll kind of talk about. And later we'll talk about that. But that's why I wanted to bring it up. So we are blind, so that was a challenge on top of these challenges, but we still got through them. So anyway, go ahead.
And with that too, I will put the latest video in a card somewhere up here. It's somewhere. But also, I will link it down in the video description as well. Go check that out, because we get into a lot of our backgrounds.
Yeah.
So yeah, go check that one out. Again, subscribe, turn on the bell notification icon, because these are not the only videos that Ents Productions is doing.
This is just a special project you're doing.
It's a special project, something that I thought of, something that I want to reach to everybody. So, turning back around to what we were talking about.
Where do we even start, right? I think we should maybe even start before we were married, like the year of the wedding planning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like...
Guys, be involved as much as you can.
Yes, with every wedding shower and everything.
Right.
Just make family... And I'll let Aaron speak, but seriously, make family a priority, because at the end of the day...
That's all you
they're there for you, and they do care, and you learn and you learn and you learn of the ones who are truly there. And it's not always about, oh, I got this much from a person. It's not always about, oh, I can only do it this day. It's really, when it comes down to it, it's about who will go to the ends of the earth with no complaints for you.
Well, and the same thing is too, don't try to please everybody as well, because you're never going to do that.
Yeah.
If somebody can't make it that you really wanted to make it, and it can't be rescheduled, it can't, wedding showers can't be rescheduled, the wedding can't be rescheduled.
Obviously.
Barring weather and depending on all those other factors, it's not that big of a deal. We had one person that my side of the family and I too wanted to show up, but we couldn't find any contact information for. And I was just like, okay, well, there's nothing we can really do about it.
No, actually, sorry.
Yeah.
We couldn't find the contact information, but then you actually contacted this person and they said...
No, I'm not talking about that.
Oh, another person. I'm sorry.
Talking about another person.
Okay, sorry. There are too many people.
But, so...
Guys, difficult situations.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
That's what really
and I think... Go ahead. Sorry. Well, and I think to kind of, shed some light, when you're wedding planning, everyone knows it's stressful regardless. Like, even though you're marrying your best friend, there are little details that matter.
Make sure it's your best friend before you marry somebody too.
Yes, don't just marry someone because you've been with them for 6 years. Don't just marry someone because you love them. And I know that sounds really crazy and weird, but You have to know that you know that you know. And again, we will get into this later, in later videos, because this is a big story we want to tell in different videos. But Aaron and I both have faced being together and not being together for certain, you know, we never got divorced, so don't freak out, thankfully. We'll touch on that later, but we didn't. But we did face some trying times within our engagement and in our marriage that wasn't just because of us, but because we are the ones in the relationship with each other. We had to come together to work it out. Right. Even though other people got involved, we had to be responsible and say, okay, what are we gonna do about this? Because we gotta work this out now, because when we do get married, it doesn't mean it's gonna end. It doesn't always get easier. Marriage is a wonderful thing. Don't get us wrong, it is. And I think the past 2 years, our marriage has, like, I mean, wouldn't you say it's been so, I feel like we've grown so much closer through everything that we've gone through, because of what we've learned beforehand. So back to wedding planning. First of all, I just want to give you some tips as a woman, and Aaron knows these as well, but try your best to show up at all the wedding showers when you're in someone's family. Now, if you can't make it, explain why, and don't get defensive. You know, don't if you are a family member or a friend of the bride or even the groom, don't make every excuse in the world why you can't be there. Don't get defensive and say, oh, you're doing it on a day that I can't do it. Because, and I don't mean this to sound critical, but one thing I had to even tell myself, and I had to learn, I had several people tell both of us this. It's really not about anybody else. Your wedding's about you. And that was really hard for me, because I'm always trying to please others, and I'm always trying to make things work out for people. And I had to realize, this isn't a birthday party. This isn't a Christmas party. This isn't just a party that you have that you're planning for your friends. You know, this is a wedding shower. And if people can make it, they can. If they can't, that's okay. I'm not upset about it. But don't, I think one of the things that we went through is there was a family member, as a daughter-in-law, it was very hard to watch my husband, soon-to-be husband at the time, have his, are you okay with, okay, Mom, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. It was very hard for me to have him stuck in the middle between him and his mom. Now, this does not mean I don't have good memories with his mom, nor him. It's his mom. I mean, obviously, And I'm not going to go into detail. I'm not going to give any names, because from the bottom of my heart, I truly do love her for bringing Aaron into this world. Obviously, God did, but still. On the same token, there comes a point where it's doing more harm than good. And that is a very hard decision to say, I've got to cut this out of my life. It's not that you want to cut those people out of your life. It's that the things that are going on, just like, negative and positive people. If you're dragged down by negative people, that's all that your life's going to have.
Well, and on that aspect of it, if you're the son or the daughter in that situation, think about what really matters. If you are married and you're in that situation, or if you are getting married or engaged and you're in that situation, a person that only matters, or the only two people that only matters are you and the person that you're engaged, married, or getting married to. It doesn't matter about anybody else. It doesn't even matter about your in-laws, which are the people you're having to deal with along with your parents. It doesn't matter about what anybody else thinks. What matters is the both of you and the communication that you two have with each other. You can say that you love somebody all day long, but if you don't have communication
and you don't show it, those are just words.
Or you're making decisions that don't show it, then there's no point, because why should somebody else put the time into you when you're not making an effort? And that's when you need to figure out, okay, what do we need to do? Do we need to cut ties with these people because this is hurting our relationship? Or what needs to happen here? Not saying that cutting ties is always the answer to doing things, but if you can't talk with people and you can't reasonably discuss things, then unfortunately that's where it has to go. I mean, we could go on and on.
I mean, we said we would be very honest and transparent with you guys.
Right.
And
but I'm just saying, we could go on and on with this, but the main thing I want to get across to you guys in this video, and we'll end it with this, is just be very careful with everybody.
Right.
Whether it's your spouse, whether it's their family or your family, or other people on the sidelines telling you things. The only two people that matter are you and the other person.
Well, we're not saying that to say like family or suggestions don't matter, so don't get that confused. No. We're simply talking about when you're going through a difficult time, or when you have come up with an agreement with your spouse and then someone was come in and say, well, you should do this because of this, and it's like, well, I'm getting ready to get married. I need to be able to make my own decision, you know.
You should do this because I want you to do this.
Right.
Or everybody in the family thinks this, so
you've been raised this way. That's the best one.
Yeah, you've been raised this way, so
you need to go to this church. You need to do this way, and that doesn't always. When you get married, you know that doesn't always work. That stuff goes out the window.
That stuff goes out the window, and it's not relevant.
No,
it is not relevant anymore. Even if you get if the prospect of getting, even if you're in the prospect of getting engaged, and you've known somebody for a while, and you are getting engaged, are engaged, or getting married, or have been married, or are married, all that stuff just doesn't matter. And I don't know how else to get that across to you guys.
If you're going,
it really doesn't.
It doesn't in the fact that if you are choosing that over what you and your spouse can agree on and it's causing problems, like if you and your spouse say, okay, we see what this person's saying, and you do it and you're happy with it and you agree, then I think it matters to a point where, okay, that's true, that makes sense. But if it's always a conflict of, again, you need to do this, I don't care what your other spouse says, yes, because your spouse, you were raised this way, you know better, you know, those kinds of things, like, then that's not okay, because then it makes your spouse or fiance, whatever, feel less important. And that's not what you want your spouse to go through. You know, we know fiance, spouse, you know, whatever you are. Unappreciated. I mean, a lot of different things. And so one thing I want to shed light on is, so a little bit I didn't say last time, is Aaron and I got engaged on actually Christmas Day of 2010, which was really sweet. So I'm not going to go into the whole engagement thing, but it was really sweet. And that from then on, you know, we dated for a while before we got married, which was good. I mean, we were engaged for a while before we got married. he knew, like, even though we went through these ups and downs, you know if you're going to get married or not. Like, even the times that we weren't together, which we'll talk about later on, which wasn't a very long time, but even the times that we both were kind of, like, split-ish, deep down we both knew, like, we were going to end up back together. It was hard. It was weird. It was like, you know, it was weird. You know, we'll just say we missed each other. And when you know, like, if you're not supposed to be with someone, you don't really have those emotions. You don't miss. And the weird thing was for me, when we were not together, I wasn't angry at him ever. I was sad. I was hurt. But I was never angry at him because God had given me the peace, literally, that said, it's all going to work out. And I just didn't understand. I was like, you know, I know it is because I do believe in miracles. And we both do. You know, I believe in miracles. But I think for me, as a woman, I didn't understand. And I was like, you know, God, what are you doing in my life? And there was one time, I did get angry with God. And I didn't want something to happen. And I yelled at him. I didn't tell you this because you weren't here, because we were not, it was the second time something happened. I remember I was actually in this room and I was like, God, you know, what is,
I don't have to yell.
What is, you know, I was yelling at the time, but I was like, what are you doing? You know, you designed marriage for a reason. Why are we going through this? Why are you not fixing this right now? What is going on? Like, I was so angry with God. And I remember specifically God telling me, you need to calm down and face reality and walk through the storm. Because the only way you're going to walk through the storm is with me. You can't do it alone. And getting angry at me, I understand you're angry, but getting angry at me is not going to fix this. You don't understand what's going on. So, getting angry at him, he obviously, God knows when we're angry, so I'm not saying, you know, don't ever get angry. God is your Heavenly Father. Let him know when you're angry. But it felt good to let him know how I was feeling. But then to just sit back and listen and say, and then I said, all right, God, all right. So, to shed some light, anyway, back on a happier note, we got engaged on Christmas Day. And so we were engaged for a while. And then, you know, I just felt like as a daughter-in-law, no matter what I did, it was like not good enough. And I think that was really hard for me because, and I'm not gonna lie, you know, there are times I still think about it and it's hard because I want to be able to say, you know, I have a mother-in-law that I can talk to. But on the same token, that does not mean that I don't love my mother-in-law. That doesn't mean I don't pray for her. It just means that we literally had to pull out the last straw. I just felt like no matter how hard I tried, you know, I feel like even now today, no matter how hard I try, I just feel like it's not good enough. And I feel like, you know, when you and your spouse or fiance, if you get in that situation where it's like someone is coming between the two of you, every family has drama, let's not lie, okay? Every family has stuff and they talk about it and they get over it. But if you feel like you try to communicate, you try to talk, literally have a sit-down conversation. If that doesn't work, and we did do counseling together, which was amazing. The circumstances weren't at the time, but the counseling really helped us. And he shed some light on a lot of situations that, again, we'll get into later. But, you know, when you realize that you are literally, you already know it, but you hear it from a professional, like, you're being mentally abused. And I'll let Aaron speak on this too because he's the son, but for me it was like, I just wish I could change it and I can't. You get to a point where you realize you can't, and what matters the most is instead of sitting there and trying to fight with your in-laws, just you and your spouse do what's best for you.
Yeah, and that's again what we're trying to get across this, at least in this video.
Yeah.
Is you guys just do what's best for you. Talk amongst yourselves. Figure it all out.
And don't be afraid to get suggestions from family.
Right, but go to the people that you trust, that have not steered you wrong in the past, because those are the people that are going to help you. So that is just one of the things we wanted to talk about in this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, share this video with others, and let's help other people walk by faith.
Walk by faith.
We'll see you guys the next one.
Next week. Thank you, guys.